Recording in progress.
Okay, 7 o'clock. Pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 11, and Wellfleet, Section 235, the ZBA will hold public hearings on October 23rd, 2025, starting at 7 p.m. under Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025. This meeting will be conducted in person at the Adult Community Center, 715 Old Kings Highway, and as a courtesy via remote means per 940 MCR 29.10 and the town's remote participation policy remotely via Zoom. And our first case is 2512, Town of Wellfleet and Cape Cod National Seashore, 0 Bound Brook Island Road, map 7, parcel 50, north of Bound Brook Road Island, map 7, parcel 602, High Toss Road, map 12, parcel 232, 2 National Park Service properties. This is a request for a special permit in accordance with Section 235-2.1 of the Wellfleet zoning bylaws, locally notable trees, for the purpose of removing up to 5 locally notable trees in the layout of the public way or on National Park Service properties necessary for road elevation work that is essential to the Herring River Restoration Project. The board for this will be Al, Jan, Will, Trevor, and Manny. And I did want to thank the people responsible for this for not for your thorough application, but also for boiling it down for us at our site visit the other day. That was very, very helpful. So we think we're pretty clear on this. So take it away.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, members of the board. My name is Carol Ridley. I am the coordinator for the Herring River Restoration Project. And yes, we are very pleased that Wes Stinson was able to meet with you yesterday, or some of you anyway, at the DPW facility and walk through the project. So I'm glad that was very helpful. I know you covered some good ground. I do have a few introductory slides to sort of lay this out. If that would be of interest to the board, I'm happy to just, if I may, share my screen.
Sure.
But I want to make sure that that's of interest to you this evening.
Sure.
Okay. And let me just get rolling here. And of course, as you may be familiar with the Herring River Restoration Project, which is at the core of this request, this is a joint project of the town of Wellfleet and the Cape Cod National Seashore National Park Service, with support from numerous federal and state partners, and has been underway for several years now. Just briefly to introduce members of the board and maybe members of the public who may be listening, the Herring River Restoration Project seeks to restore up to 890 acres of the historic estuarine floodplain that has seriously degraded due to tidal restriction, primarily at the Chequesset Neck, formerly the dike, and now where the bridge construction is occurring. And this is going to generate significant habitat restoration benefits throughout the floodplain, and also increase the resilience of the floodplain in light of changes in climate and storm conditions. Notably, restoration of the native salt marsh grasses is a carbon storage or carbon sink opportunity. Currently, there are extensive ponded wetlands that are emitting methane, so there are significant climate benefits to this project, as well as ecological and habitat restoration. This project is primarily accomplished by removing major tidal restrictions throughout the floodplain. I mentioned the Chequesset Neck Bridge and gates that are being built at the former dike at the mouth of Chequesset Neck Road, at the mouth of the system. There are also water control structures going into the entrances to the Mill Creek subbasin, which is just nearing completion, as well as the Upper Poldike Creek subbasin. And the causeway that currently is at the end of High Toss Road, where it crosses just past Way 672 and meets with Duck Harbor Road, that portion of the road will be removed where it crosses the marsh. There's currently an undersized culvert under that earthen causeway, and that will allow us to restore natural tidal hydrology through that area, so connecting lower and upper Herring River. There are also several mitigation measures incorporated in the project to deal with the fact that we are restoring tidal flow to the system, and there are built structures throughout the floodplain. We want to make sure that they're protected. This includes low-lying roadways, as well as 3 private properties that will require some mitigation measures, and of course the Chequesset Golf Course. All of these measures are designed to withstand changes modeled under full tidal restoration conditions. And presently, we're anticipating, oh, excuse me, I think I skipped over a slide here. I just want to talk for a moment about the low-lying road and culvert replacement component of that work, which is essentially, it's a little bit of mitigation and restoration, because in addition to elevating the roadways, and we're talking about approximately 2 non-contiguous miles of roadway, most of which is in Wellfleet, a small segment in Truro. We're also going to be replacing 7 underside culverts, which are currently located throughout the system, and again, restricting tidal flow. So in addition to increasing the resiliency of the roadways, protecting those roadways from any potential impacts from increased tidal flow, those enlarged culverts are going to facilitate movement of water and drainage of water out of the system, which is very important. So that work, the road elevation and culvert replacement work, is set to begin very soon. The town advertised a bid for that work, and at the select board meeting this week, the select board, have preliminarily awarded that bid to a contractor. And so it's hoped, as the contract is negotiated, that that will be in place and work can commence by the end of this calendar year. And the tree clearing that we're talking about this evening is due to this road work. We have been working closely with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to observe time of year restrictions associated with the northern long-eared bat, which is a threatened species. And so any and all tree clearing will be undertaken within these dates of December 1st and March 15th of any given year. We think the total construction period might be up to 24 months, but tree clearing would be required to occur within that December 1 to March 15 window. So that is our construction plan. And because of a couple of town bylaws that have to do with both the scenic roads and the locally notable trees, we wanted to get a good, solid understanding of the extent of tree resources that could potentially be impacted by the road work. And through the design engineer for this project, WSP, the town hired Bartlett tree experts to conduct that survey of the trees likely to be impacted by this project. And as part of Bartlett tree experts' work, they identified 5 trees that meet the standard as a locally notable tree. I will also tell you, and you may know this, but just to make sure all the members of the board are aware, we did visit with the planning board recently in accordance with the scenic road bylaw and obtained the planning board's unanimous written determination that the work can continue under the terms of that bylaw. So we're here before you this evening to talk specifically about the locally notable trees. So these are the trees that measure at breast height a diameter of 38 inches. And I believe, as Wes may have explained to you yesterday, in this instance, some of the 5 are really, it's the sum of several stems that constituted that DBH. So the 5 trees are noted here on the map. And just to orient everyone, so this is, Bound Brook Island Road here. Here's Old County Road. This is the road that leads out to the Duck Harbor, called Bound Brook Island Road West, I believe. So these are the 5 trees that have been identified. And the colored stars just sort of key to the current assessment of the state of these trees. The 2 dark blue trees, I believe 5 is already dead. And 3 is in such a location within the limit of work that it would not be possible to save that tree. So that tree is definitely going to need to be removed for the purposes of the work. This tree, number 17, is kind of a toss-up in the moment. That may be savable, but that would be a field decision. And the current plan would be to try to keep trees 6 and 7. However, all of this is really dependent upon what happens in the field and the contractor being engaged to make these determinations as part of their means and methods of work. So the request to the Zoning Board of Appeals is for a special permit to authorize the removal of up to 5 trees. So that would include all of the 5 trees identified as locally notable trees for the purposes of this road work, which is really an essential component of the Herring River Restoration Project. We've already reviewed the nature of those trees and their condition. And I don't want to review the findings if you're already thoroughly aware, but we did note them in the application that these areas are all within the R1 and Cape Cod National Seashore District. We don't believe that any of the removals will impact the district uses, and there are no site uses that will be displaced. This work is essential to the project and will increase, the work itself will increase the resilience of the local roadways and enhance stormwater treatment along those segments of road. And also, as our DPW director noted, really increase safety to the extent that as trees are removed and they die, they cause a hazard. So there's some public safety benefits of this work as well. And any disturbed areas are going to be restored in accordance with a restoration planting plan. Also just to note that this is a regionally significant project, so enabling this work to occur is something that's beneficial to residents, both full-time and seasonal residents of the town of Wellfleet. And just in terms of long-term benefits to the aesthetics of the area, it is expected that with tidal restoration over years, viewscapes in the community will improve in terms of expanses of open water views and salt marsh views. And during that marsh transition, the project team and the town will work very closely with the Cape Cod National Seashore, which owns most of the area that will be affected by tidal restoration, to remove woody debris before it becomes a hazard or an eyesore due to the effects of salt water. And we'll also work very closely with private owners who may have large woody vegetation on their property that could be impacted by tidal restoration to remove that with their collaboration and cooperation. So we overall think that this is a project that will really enhance the scenic qualities of the town as well. So with that, I'll stop. Happy to answer any questions, and I certainly appreciate your time this evening and your care and coming out to meet with Wes and learn more about the location of the trees.
Thank you. Okay, Jen, did we have any letters? Yes.
No, there were no letters.
Anyone from the audience want to speak to this? Mr. Burkhardt? No, we have no one from the audience speaking. Okay, I'll go to questions then. Al?
I have no question.
Jan?
My only question is that the bylaw states that an application for removal of locally notable trees shall be referred to the Conservation Commission for comment prior to a hearing before the special permit granting authority. So has it gone to CONSCOM?
So Jen and I conferred about this earlier today, and I believe she has been in touch with the Conservation Commission about this.
Yeah, the conservation agent said that this is all within the scope of work of the order of conditions, and it was expected that trees would be removed, so they are fine with it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, I have no comments, except that it was a very good presentation, one of the best I've seen in years.
Excellent. Trevor?
I don't have any comments. I agree with Will. It's an excellent presentation. I appreciate, who was it we met with yesterday?
Wes,
Wes's,
yeah, Wes.
I want to call him Will again. Wes's presentation yesterday, that was really helpful. And I know these trees technically meet the definition of notable, but aside from number 6, which I know might possibly be saved anyway, I don't think any of them, anybody in there would ever actually look at and call notable. So I'm fine with all of this.
No question.
Okay, no, and I have no questions. Yes, we really appreciated Wes taking us from this to this. That was,
Great.
that was a definite winner. So,
Terrific.
okay,
Thank you.
so,
Move to findings.
okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all right. This is a request for a special permit in accordance with sections 235-2.1 and 235-6.9.3 of the Wellfleet zoning bylaws to remove up to 5 locally notable trees in the layout of the public way or on national seashore properties, necessary for road elevation work that is essential to the Herring River Restoration Project. The properties affected are in the R1 and National Seashore Park districts. Wellfleet zoning bylaws define locally notable trees as native trees with a girth of 120 inches or greater measured at breast height, 4.5 feet, or below the lowest branching trunk, whichever is less, or tree species listed as endangered, threatened, or of special concern by Mass Wildlife's Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program. The project has been reviewed by the conservation agent. The project has been approved by the Planning Board for clearing along scenic roads. The applicant has contracted with a certified arborist, Bartlett Tree Experts, to assess the trees along the construction route and to determine species, health, and which are locally notable. The 2025 Inventory and Management Plan prepared by Bartlett Tree Experts identified 5 locally notable trees, one of which is on National Seashore property. Of the 5, 1 is dead and cannot be kept. 1 cannot be kept due to location. 1 may possibly be kept depending on the depth of fill, and the plan is to keep the remaining 2 trees due to location and condition. The board has made a site visit and examined all materials submitted by the applicant. The removal of the trees will allow improvements to stormwater treatment and the resilience and safety of local roads in the properties. There were no appearances or correspondence either for or against the project. The board has found that pursuant to Wellfleet zoning bylaw 235-8.4, nearby land uses would be supported by the removal of these trees. Uses of the site would not be preempted by this use. Roads, drainage, and other public services will be enhanced by the proposal. The site is not more sensitive than similarly zoned sites to environmental damage from a proposal such as this, considering erosion, siltation, potential groundwater or surface water contamination, habitat disturbance, or loss of valuable natural vegetation. The board has found that Wellfleet zoning bylaw 235-8.4B2 is not applicable to the project. The board has found that pursuant to Wellfleet zoning bylaw 235-8.4B3, scenic views have been considerately treated, traditional public access to the shoreline has been maintained. After considering the district objectives for the residential and National Seashore Park districts affected as provided for in Wellfleet zoning bylaw 235-3.2, and the relevant criteria set forth in Wellfleet zoning bylaw 235-8.4B, the board finds the removal of these up to 5 trees is necessary to achieve the objectives of the Herring River Restoration Project and will not be detrimental. The applicant has demonstrated that the benefits of the project outweigh any possible adverse effects.
Move to accept findings.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And then I need a motion to grant the permit.
Yes, aye.
Yep.
So moved.
Yep.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. And we're
Thank
gonna
you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you.
Jen and I decided we would stamp this giant site plan, but have it stay together. This thing,
You're just going to stamp this whole packet?
yeah, we're just going to stamp the packet. How many
Great,
do
thank
we
you very
need?
much.
How many? 2, 3. There you go. Uh-huh. Giant. Let me make sure I didn't lose my agenda. Okay. Yeah, it's the business, it's habitat. do we know if anybody's actually going to present on this next one?
They are here.
What?
John O'Reilly is here.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, we'll give him a chance to say something if he wants to.
And I think Maureen is here as well.
And I don't need to set a board because we all vote on this. Right. Okay. All right. That's our only case for tonight. But we do have business to deal with the 2254 Old Kings Highway, the covenant release for Habitat due to substitution with a bond. We won't have a board with this. We all either vote to release the covenant or to not release the covenant. But I believe someone is here to speak to it a bit. So, Mr. O'Reilly, did you want to speak to this?
They're becoming not co-host panelists at this point. There's Noreen.
Okay, there.
John is there too.
Okay.
John should be here. Yeah.
He is.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening. I'm John O'Reilly. I'm here with Noreen from Habitat for Humanity.
Yep.
We are here to hopefully get the sign off of the 5 lots because construction is nearing completion, and the Habitat folks are trying to get certificates of occupancy for the 4 new homes. We have done an as-built plan and have completed all the inspections. You should have a letter from me
Yes.
as well as an as-built plan as part of the application. The only thing that I think we're lacking, and this was brought again to our attention by Mr. Parent, who's been overseeing the construction of the roadway. The Habitat folks are planning to solidify the shoulders, which are vegetated and are stabilized, but there are some bare spots out there that we'd like to have the opportunity next spring to rectify. And the project does have a bond on it, and we'd like to consider the bond as our assurance that we'll be revegetated come spring of 2026.
Okay. Thank you.
Be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Questions?
No questions.
Jan?
Nope.
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 Nope. Okay. So I need a motion to release the covenant.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. And then we have minutes from 9:25. We have minutes. Okay.
Even though I wasn't here.
You can't move. You can vote on them, but you can't move.
I'll move them.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Yeah, you can always vote on minutes even if you're not here. You can't move or second them, though.
You've said this 10 times, but I can never.
It's all right.
One more time.
One more. I actually have heard that minutes do not need a second, according to the town moderator from Provincetown, but I always do it anyway. She knows what she's doing.
Sorry.
I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Aye.
Somebody
Second.
Oh, you can
Second.
second it. You're good at that.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Blind lead.